Good morning, students. In our last class, we discussed about MOSFET. In our today's class, we are going to discuss about IGBT. IGBT means insulated gate bipolar transistor. In our today's class, we are going to cover what is a IGBT and what is the structure of IGBT and what is the operation of IGBT. With these topics, we are going to additionally transfer characteristics of the IGBT. Characteristics means there are three type of characteristics is there. That means VI characteristics and transfer characteristics and switching characteristics. So in our today's class, we are going to discuss about these characteristics of the IGBT also. So students, let's see what is IGBT. So generally this IGBT is the combination of MOSFET and BJT. So there are some advantages and disadvantages with MOSFET, and there are some advantages and disadvantages with BJT. So now we are going to combine these MOSFET and BJT to form a IGBT. So let us see what are the disadvantages of IGBT means. This BJT has poor switching performance and low input impedance and secondary breakdown. These are the some of the disadvantages of the BJT, but it has very excellent conducting characteristics. This is about advantages and disadvantages of the BJT. And next, see what are the some good characteristics or advantages of the MOSFET means it exactly it has excellent conducting characteristics, and at the same time it has a very good switching characteristics, and it has a very high input impedance. Okay, no? So these are the some of the advantages of the MOSFET, and there are some disadvantages also. What are those disadvantages means it has a bad conduction characteristics and problematic parasitic diode at high resistance. That means during operation condition, when we reach the high ratings, there is a some parasitic diode is come into the picture. This is also one of the advantage of the MOSFET, and through the unipolar structure of P MOSFET leads to low switching timings. Okay, so it leads to high on-state resistance as voltage rating is increases. So these are the disadvantages of the MOSFET. Now we are going to combine these MOSFET and IGBT. By combination of this MOSFET and IGBT, we are getting the we are going to combine the MOSFET and BJT. By combining this MOSFET and BJT, we are going to get the IGBT. So IGBT is a device which has goodness of both power MOSFET and power BJT. This IGBT was introduced in early of 1980s. So IGBT has power MOSFET like input characteristics and power BJT like output characteristics. So here we are combining the both MOSFET and BJT. That's why we are getting the advantages like power MOSFET input characteristics and power BJT output characteristics. So it's if you see the symbol of the IGBT, it is the combination of both. It is the combination of both IGBT and BJT. So IGBT is also a three-terminal device. It has a gate, controller, and emitter. Once see the basic symbol of the IGBT. See here, this is the general symbol of MOSFET, and this is the general symbol of BJT. So by combining this MOSFET and BJT, we are going to form the IGBT. Okay na? So IGBT has a three terminals. What are those three terminals means? Gate, collector, and emitter. These are the three terminals that present in the IGBT. So if you see here, IGBT is the combination of MOSFET and BJT. So here the symbol also, it is the combination of both IGBT and MOSFET and BJT. So let us see the what is the structure of IGBT. So here, what is the structure of IGBT means? The structure of the IGBT is very similar to that MOSFET except one layer. So except one layer means, actually in our last class we see about the structure of the MOSFET. In that structure of the MOSFET, there is a two types of MOSFETs, that means P channel enhanced MOSFET and N channel enhanced MOSFET. Here it is similar to the N channel enhanced MOSFET. With this N channel enhanced MOSFET, there is additionally a P layer is injected. That is the basic form of the IGBT. This injected layer is a key to the superior characteristics of IGBT. Other layer also called the drift and body region. The two junctions are labeled as J1 and J2. See here. Actually, up to this we are considered as a N channel MOSFET. But in addition to this, we are going to add the P plus. Okay na? So this is the additional structure we are adding to the MOSFET. Because of this, we are forming the IGBT. Okay na? See here, this is P plus layer is a injected layer, and it is considered as a collector indicated by the C, and there is a region. This region is called as a drain region. Drain region is filled with N minus type material, and there is a body region. This body region is filled with P type materials. So here we have to identify one thing, means what is N plus and what is N minus. Means N plus indicates the heavily doped N type material, and N minus it indicates the lightly doped N type material. Here also P plus indicates the heavily doped P type material. Okay na? So junction J1 is in between N minus junction J1 is in between N minus and P plus layers. Similarly, junction J2 is in between body region and drain region. Here it is called as a junction J2. This is junction J1. So junction J2 is present in between body region and drain region. Similarly, J3 is in between N plus region and P region. This is the overall structure of the IGBT. In this structure, totally we have three terminals is also existed, that is gate, emitter, and this is the collector. So here there is some metals is also presented. Okay now, so this is the basic structure of the IGBT. If you observe them here, it is also like a for BJTs. There are two BJTs are existed. That means similar BJT action is present in the structure of the IGBT also. Let us see. So if you observe there exist a N-channel MOSFET and two BJTs. So see here, what are those BJTs means? Q1 P plus N minus P. See here, this is the Q1. What are those BJTs? This is the P1 one terminal, N minus one terminal, and P is the another terminal. Okay, next, if you see the another transistor Q2, it is the in between N minus P and N. So where is the Q2? Here, this is the Q2. There are totally three so here also it is considered as a one of the BJT. So here there are totally two transistors are existed. Okay na? So these two transistors are electrically connected like this. This is the equivalent circuit diagram for the IGBT with two transistors. So here the two transistors are connected back to back. So it is also considered as a equivalent circuit of the IGBT. So this is about the basic structure of IGBT. So here we can analyze two things. First one is it is similar to the IGBT is similar to the MOSFET. How it is similar to the MOSFET means it is like a N-channel enhanced MOSFET with injected P layer. This is the comparison of MOSFET with IGBT. And how can we compare this IGBT with BJT means IGBT is the combination of two transistors. That means if you see here, this is the circuit diagram. If you observe here, there are two transistors are connected in back to back. So if two transistors are connected back to back like this, it acts like a IGBT. That means what is the IGBT work is done? The same work is done by this equivalent circuit also. So this is about the basic structure of this IGBT. Next, what is the working of the IGBT? So let us see how this IGBT is working. How can we this IGBT is working means IGBT turns on when the collector is at positive terminal with respect to emitter and gate also at sufficient positive potential with respect to emitter. See here, emitter, gate, collector. So when the gate voltage is when the gate voltage is positive with respect to the emitter, okay na, at the same time it must have the more voltage than the emitter, then only it IGBT is turns on. When this IGBT is turns on, the current starts flowing. So here we have to consider one thing is gate threshold voltage. When this gate voltage is positive with respect to the emitter voltage, at the same time this gate voltage is must be greater than the threshold voltage. Threshold, already we discussed about threshold voltage. Threshold voltage means it is the minimum voltage required to turn on the device. It is considered as a threshold voltage. That means when we apply the voltage, that voltage is must be greater than the threshold voltage, and at the same time it must be greater than the emitter voltage. When these two conditions are satisfied, then only the at that conditions only formation of inverse layer just below the gate, and this leads to the channel formation and current begins to flow from collector to emitter. See here, when this gate voltage is positive then this emitter, at the same time this voltage is greater than the threshold voltage. At that situation only the current begins to flow towards the collector region. Up to now this device is in a turn off condition only, okay na? So this is about the operation of the IGBT. So next, when gate is turns on, when this IGBT gate is turned on, then only the current starts flowing towards the collector region. So how this collector current is defined means, collector current is combination of two components, that one is IE and one is IH, where IE is the current due to the injected electrons flow from the emitter through injection layer and drift layer, and finally the channel formed. And where is IH is the whole current flow from collector to emitter through transistor Q1 and body resistor RB. Hence the total collector current is defined as a injected emitter current and whole current, okay na? So the total current can be expressed as IE plus IH. Generally this IH is negligible, so IH is equal to the IE. That means collector current is equal to the current due to the injected electrons flowing from collector to emitter. So this is the current flowing through the IGBT. Next, characteristics of IGBT. So characteristics of IGBT means there are totally 3 characteristics are existed. What are those means? One is VI characteristics of the IGBT. It is also called as a steady state characteristics. Next, second one is transfer characteristics of the IGBT. Transfer characteristics of the IGBT means with respect to the change in the gate voltage, how the current is flowing through the collector. The analysis of this thing we can get by using these transfer characteristics of the IGBT. Next, switching characteristics. What are the switching character means? How these IGBT act as a switch, at what time it ons and what time it's off. The entire study of on and off situation can be get by using the switching characteristics of the IGBT. Switching characteristics of the IGBT is also called as a dynamic characteristics of the IGBT. So let us see what are the static characteristics of the IGBT. So see here, this is the circuit diagram connected for the IGBT. See here, there are totally 3: emitter, base, collector. This base is also act as a gate for this IGBT. Okay na? So this is the circuit diagram connected for the IGBT. These are the VI characteristics. That means with respect to the increasing voltage, these are the collector current directions. Okay na? So already we see in previous classes what about these regions. This is called saturation region, this is called cutoff region, this place, and this all is called as a saturation region, and this is called as a ohmic resistance region. So saturation means after reaching the gate terminal, even though we are increasing the voltage, there is no increase of the current. That means constant current is flowing through the IGBT. So this is the VI characteristics of IGBT, and these are the at different gate to emitter voltages applied. Okay na? So this VGE1 is less than VGE2, VGE2 is less than VGE3, VGE3 is less than VGE4. That means if you observe here, if you increase the gate voltages, then the saturation levels is also going to be increased. So this is about the static characteristics or VI characteristics of the IGBT. Next, so some of the things you have to remember is this is similar to the IGBT. This IGBT characteristics is similar to the BJT graph. So this graph is same for BJT also, and similarly it is like a MOSFET also. So and IGBT will, when the device is in off mode, the reverse voltage is blocked by J2, and when it reverse bias, that is VC is negative, J1 blocks the voltage. So this is about the operation of the BJT. And here we have to remember one thing is this IGBT is a voltage control device and BJT is a current control device. This is about the VI characteristics and transfer characteristics. See here, this is the transfer characteristics for the IGBT. So this figure shows the characteristics of the IGBT. It is exactly like a power MOSFET. So this if you remember, the transfer characteristics of the power MOSFET, it is also similar to the IGBT. That means what is the transfer characteristics we are getting the power MOSFET, here also we are getting the same shape. That means with increasing the gate terminal voltages, the current is going to be increased. And here we have to remember one thing is, when the voltage is more than the threshold voltage, then only the transfer current is, that means collector current is started. Here VGET, it is considered as a threshold, gate threshold voltage. When applied voltage is greater than this threshold voltage, then only the current going to be increased. So this is about the transfer characteristics. So we have to remember these two things. That means VI characteristics is similar to the BJT. IGBT VI characteristics is similar to the BJT VI characteristics, and transfer characteristics of the IGBT is also similar to the power MOSFET. Okay, na? So why we are getting these relations like this means, because we are using the power MOSFET and BJT. By combination of this power MOSFET and BJT, we are getting the IGBTs. That's why we are getting these transfer characteristics like a power MOSFET, and VI characteristics is like a BJT. Next, switching characteristics. Switching characteristics is also called as a dynamic characteristics of a IGBT. Generally, the switching characteristics are considered in two parts. One is turn on time and second one is turn off time. So, and here we can express total turn on time is equal to the turn off the turn on time consists of two components. One is delay time and second one is rise time. That means in mathematically we can express it as a total turn on time of a IGBT can be expressed as time taken for the delay time and time taken for the rise time. So total T on can be expressed as a total delay time plus total rise time. This is, let us see what is a delay time. Delay time is defined as a time in which collector current rises from leakage current ICE to 0.1 ICE and collector emitter voltage falls from VCE to 0.9 VCE. It is considered as a delay time. So once again see the definition. Time taken to rise the current from leakage current from ICE to 0.1 ICE. This is in terms of collector current. Okay, now, or how can we define delay time with respect to emitter voltage? Means emitter voltages falls from VCE to 0.9 VCE. It is defined as a delay time. See here, time taken with how can with respect delay time with respect to voltage VCE means, how can we explain time taken to reach VCE to 0.9 VCE? It is considered as a delay time. And at the same time with respect to current, how can we express this? ICE to 0.1 ICE. This is the ICE and this is the 0.1 ICE. So the total time taken from reach to ICE to 0.1 ICE. And with respect to voltage, we can define as a time taken to reach VCE to 0.9 VCE. It is considered as a delay time. Okay, na? So So delay time can be expressed as VCE to 0.9 VCE. Okay na? And with respect to collector current, time taken to rise from ICE to 0.1 ICE, it is defined as a delay time, TDN. This is the delay time. Next, see what is the rise time. Rise time is defined as a time in which collector current rises from 0.1 ICE to IC. Okay na? And collector emitter voltage falls from 0.9 VCE to 0.1 VCE. That means here rise time is also explained in two ways. That means one is with respect to collector current and another one is with respect to collector emitter voltage VCE. So how can we define rise time? Means time taken to rise the current from 0.1 IC to IC, and with respect to emitter collector voltage, it is expressed as time taken to falls from 0.9 VCE to 0.1 VCE. See here, this is the graph. So rise time 0.1 VCE to IC, that means to rise 0.1 to ICE, it is considered as a rise time. So time taken from 0.1 IC to 1 IC, the total time taken to rise the current 0.1 to 1 IC to IC, it is defined as a rise time. This is with respect to collector current. Similarly, we can define collector voltage as time taken to fall the collector emitter voltage from 0.9 to 0.1 VCE. It is considered as a rise time. Okay na? This is the time taken for rise time. This is about the rise time of the IGBT. So rise time can be expressed as two ways. One is with respect to collector current. What is it explains means time taken to rise the collector current from 0.1 to 1 IC. That means total full current rises. Okay now, 0.1 to full current rises, it is considered as a rise time. At the same time, this rise time can be expressed as a collector with respect to collector emitter voltage, means 0.1 VCE to time taken to fall the collector emitter voltage from 0.9 VCE to 0.1 VCE, it is considered as a rise time. So the combination of this delay time and rise time, it is considered as a total turn on time of the IGBT. Next, turn off time. The turn off time of the IGBT consists of three components. What are those? First one is delay time, and second one is initially fall time, and third one is final fall time. So totally there are three combinations are present in during turn off process. So let us see what is a delay time. Delay time is defined as a time when collector current falls from ICE to 0.9 ICE. Okay na? And VCE brings to rise. See here, so what is delay time? So delay time can be expressed as with respect to collector current, time taken from collector current 0.9 IC to 0.1 VC. It is considered as a delay time. Okay na? So and with respect to VC, how can we define delay time with respect to VC? Means time taken to raise the VCA from 0.1. Okay na? It is considered as a delay time. See here again, once again see here, what is the delay time? Delay time means time taken for the collector current to reach ICE to 0.9 ICE. It is considered as a delay time. So see here, this is the VCA and this is the 0.9 VCA. So time taken to reach this point to this point, it is considered as a delay time. Okay na? Next, what is initial fall time? It is the time during which collector current falls from 0.9 ICE to 0.2 ICE and the collector emitter voltage rises to 0.1 VCE. So here also initial fall time can be expressed in two ways. What are those? Means first one with respect to collector current. With respect to collector current, we can define as a time taken by the collector current to reach from 0.9 ICE to 0.2 ICE. See here, see here, what is rise time? Initially fall time. How can we express this initially fall time? Means time taken from 0.9 ICE to 0.2 ICE. That means this point. .9 ICE to 0.1 VCE. So the time taken to fall from 0.9 ICE to 0.2 ICE, it is considered as a fall time. Okay na? Next, final fall time. How can we express this final fall time? Final fall time is time duration which collector current falls from 0.2 ICE to 0.1 ICE and 0.1 VCE to final value of VCE. So final fall time can be expressed as time taken from 0.2 VCE to 0.2 ICE to 0.1 ICE. So this duration is called as a final fall time, and this is also can be defined in collector emitter voltage is time taken 0.1 to final value of VCE. It is defined as a final value of final fall time. So this is about all switching characteristics of the IGBT or dynamic characteristics of the IGBT. So there are some of the advantages of the IGBT. What are those advantages? Means low gate driving requirements and low switching losses, small snubber circuit requirement, high input impedance, voltage controlled device, and temperature coefficient of on state resistance is positive and less than PMOS, hence less on state voltage drop and power losses. Second and next one is enhanced conductance due to the bipolar nature and safe operating area. These are the advantages of the IGBT. At the same time, there are some of the disadvantages of the IGBT. What are those means? First one is cost. Cost is high compared to the BJT and MOSFET, and there is some latch up problem is also existed during the operation of the IGBT. And another disadvantage is high turn off time compared to the P MOSFET. So these are the disadvantages of the IGBT. So students, this is about the overall IGBT. In our tomorrow's class we will discuss about new topic. Okay na? Thank you.